Chapter 19 just set up one of the craziest surprises we ever seen in Two Blue Vortex, and it's gonna happen as early as next chapter. Just sit down and listen, because Ikemoto just cooked. But before we get into the video, I do deep dive analysis videos on my channel quite often, and they do take quite a while for me to do, so if you could just drop a quick like for me, that would be much appreciated. Let's try to get 400 likes on this video, no more and no less. Yes, just 400 likes, that's it. Okay, so anyway, let's hop into it, fellas, because I'm excited to talk about this. Let's start from the top. So reading chapter 19 on stream with you guys, I noticed that despite Kashin Koji seeing that Sarada and especially Konohamaru was in trouble, deep trouble in Konohamaru's case, he still didn't want Boruto to intervene in that situation. Ada literally told him that he pissed Matsuri off so bad that she was about to devour and kill him. Yet he still didn't budge a finger to do anything. Now you can say the only reason he doesn't want Boruto to join in the fight is because of JURA, but I think it's actually a lot deeper than that. That could end up being an excuse to mask the true reason why Koji wants Boruto to stay put. And it's all a part of Koji's master plan to save the future. Now let me try and break this down as best as I possibly can. So obviously, I talk about this all the time on my channel, but the timeline is constantly changing throughout the duration of the Boruto series, and it haven't stopped since the beginning of Two Blue Vortex. This mission is another example of the timeline changing. Before the beginning of the SUNAGAKURE rescue mission, Kashin Koji told Shikamaru to only send Konohamaru, Mitsuki, and Sarada to the Land of Wind, but don't send Himawari because of her being JURA's target, of course. I think this is legit. If Himawari and Boruto joined in on the mission, then JURA would indeed get in the way, and everyone would just die. Easy enough to say that, right? But there's a specific reason for this. So the plan was to befriend the Shinju, and then betray them when they least expect it to kill them in one blow. Now of course the plan failed because of Konohamaru and Yodo letting their personal feelings cloud their head and get in the way of the mission. But that always was going to happen, because Koji and Boruto created this scenario themselves. Those two are the reason this mission has failed, and he knew it would fail. Let's take a look at some key points back in chapter 16. I brought it up before, but during this conversation, we learned that the reason the timeline has been changing so much is because of people knowing certain things that they shouldn't even know yet. Koji even said it himself, for better or worse, to know the future leads to the act of destroying it. And he also said it's better for most folks to not know anything for things to proceed towards a good future. But now let's look at an example of them going against this way of thinking. And it's more than just a couple of times they've done this. The prime example is in chapter 14 during Boruto's interrogation. Now I don't know if Kashin Koji told Boruto specifically to tell Konohamaru this. From the way he said it and the urgency he displayed when he said it, most likely he wasn't told to tell Konohamaru this. More so he told him so he could be careful. He told him because he was concerned for his sensei. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But what Boruto didn't know, telling Konohamaru this has done way more harm than good. To explain to him that Matsuri is a divine tree person modeled after Moegi and was targeting him, that wasn't a good idea. That wasn't a good idea at all. All it did was bring emotions into the mission. I've heard this throughout the community for the past 2 months, that Konohamaru is fumbling and he got the easiest part because Matsuri already likes him. All he basically had to do was just play along. The hard part was already done for him, but he just couldn't do it. Even as something as simple as allowing her to call him Konohamaru-chan was a hassle. So this problem goes all the way back to chapter 14. As soon as Boruto told Konohamaru this, at that moment he ruined the entire mission. Because now he included love into it. Because he loves Moegi, he couldn't allow a fake Moegi to try and take her spot, because he knows that's not her and it will never be her. And in his mind, it was just so hard to even pretend that he was even the least bit interested in her. Now, it's extremely different if Boruto just listened to what Koji said and held any type of unnecessary information away from people that shouldn't know it. Because then, if Konohamaru doesn't even know the origins behind Matsuri, I believe he would have been able to execute the plan without much difficulty at all. Now, everyone says And I see it all the time in my comment section. They say that Yodo and Konohamaru are still at fault because they let their emotions and feelings get in the way of the mission and cloud their judgment, as well as their ability to execute said mission properly. I mean, yes, this is a concept we learned very early on in Naruto, but in the same arc it was introduced, we kinda learned that it's just really impossible for a shinobi to just put aside their emotions entirely and become truly heartless. Because at the end of the day, there's still human beings that are capable of feeling emotions. And that applies greatly to the situation. That's why to just prevent these unnecessary emotions getting in the way, it's better to just keep vital information away from certain people. Now, with Yodo, the situation is quite different because Boruto nor Kashin Koji directly made contact with her or spoken to her. But yet, because of both of their actions, she was still indirectly affected by this, thus affecting the outcome of the mission. We go back to chapter 15 during the fight between Gaara, the Sand siblings, and Matsuri. The entire reason Matsuri was even there was because she was following the traces of Boruto and Kashin Koji. And you can see, they're all in the same hideout that Koji brought Boruto back in chapter 13. The entire reason Matsuri was after Boruto is because of him knowing about certain information that caught their attention and deemed them a great threat. Even Boruto knowing about the Thorn Soul. Now, he didn't tell everyone exactly what the Thorn Soul was. I'm pretty sure he doesn't even know himself, but he knows it'll help him save Sasuke. And to be honest, that was enough for Sarada to realize its importance. So going back to Yodo, the only reason she even knew about the Thorn Soul was from the intel she got from Konohamaru. And of course, all this info can be traced back to Boruto and Koji. You see the correlation now? Yodo is not supposed to know about the Thorn Soul. She's not supposed to know it'll save Shinki, but this is knowledge she attained because of Boruto. And her knowing this information, like in Konohamaru's case, it changed the timeline extremely. So you can see why people knowing certain things is not a good idea. Sure, probably in another timeline, Konohamaru and the others complete their mission and get the Thorn Soul from both Ryu and Matsuri. But now, since the timeline has changed, they failed the mission and now have to fight an all-out battle against them. Oh yeah, and Konohamaru is about to be devoured. So what happens now? What happens now that the timeline is going the way it is now? Is this just gonna force Boruto out to the battlefield to save them like he always does? In short, the answer is no. So obviously there's really no way for them to win this battle. Araya had his sword taken away, probably never to get it back again. If they was going to defeat Ryu, this sword would have gave them the best chance at making it happen. And now that it's gone, and Sarada as well as Mitsuki are being pressed by the overwhelming number of claw grinds, it's not looking good. And I don't have to mention Konohamaru, he's in the worst situation out of everyone right now. And the chances of them going to assist him is close to zero. All fingers should point to Boruto to go help them, no doubt about it. And in any normal circumstance, you may be correct. But the reason Koji still won't allow it is because he already seen this outcome. And he already prepared a counter for it. This was Koji's primary plan, simply to have Konoha go through with the mission as normal, but as any smart strategist, you always have a backup plan just in case your primary plan went wrong. And as we know, Koji is no novice when it comes to strategy. He and AMADO were the ones who planned Kawaki escaping the aircraft and falling into Konoha's hands, as well as plotting on Jigen's downfall. He's pretty underrated when it comes to his intelligence alone. He's been working on his backup plan for a while now. It's Kawaki. Kawaki is the backup plan. There was an entire purpose behind telling Kawaki about his limiters. Koji knew Kawaki, as hot-headed as he is, would just head over to AMADO right away and demand that he removes his limiters. Just as much as Kawaki needs AMADO, AMADO needs him just as much, especially if he wishes to see his daughter again. So Koji knew he would get his limiters removed, and it was all for this moment right here. Inconveniently enough, him getting his limiters removed aligned so well with the SUNAGAKURE mission going wrong. It's almost like it was meant to be. I think it's pretty obvious what Ikemoto was trying to tell us. Even though removing his limiters would most likely make him temporarily stronger than Boruto, that's the choice they have to make. Without Kawaki, the hopes of them actually defeating the Shinju, and especially JURA, would be close to zero. So Koji informed Boruto to relay this information to Kawaki so the timeline could change again. He even said in many futures the way the planet dies would be because of Kawaki getting devoured. Now, when you make him as strong as he is about to be, it dang near eliminates that possibility entirely. So yes, in the long run, we know that Boruto is going to have to fight Kawaki. This is only making his job that much harder. But at the end of the day, to even get that far, this has to be done. So getting back into the main topic, the reason he wants Boruto to stay put is because he knows Kawaki is definitely on his way, and he's about to show off his immense power against Ryu and MATSURI. This option not only establishes Kawaki's new presence in the story for everyone, including for us viewers, but it ensures JURA does not come to the scene because he already considers Kawaki to be fodder. He doesn't care about him, and he wouldn't care about Kawaki, nor would any of the other Shinju, until it's too late. Although I do wonder whether or not JURA would come once he realizes he's pushing Ryu and Matsuri back. I suspect they would just both retreat somehow, maybe through a claw rhyme or something like that. If they do choose to retreat, they'll have to create a diversion because Kawaki can just shrink the claw marks. But whether Matsuri and Ryu survive or not, they're not beating this new Kawaki. So that's why I said it was pretty obvious that Kawaki would make his grand return as one of the strongest in chapter 20. And I could see them doing a little flashback to show him actually getting his limiters off. Maybe after or sometime during the battle. And then there's also a possibility Koji could send Boruto out there, but only if JURA shows up. Then you'll have a fully rested Boruto and a newly awakened Kawaki working together to defeat JURA. So really it's all about timing. You don't want to send Boruto out there too early so that JURA appears earlier than he should as well. Let Kawaki get both Ryu and Matsuri out the way and then challenge JURA if he comes. That was Koji's plan all along, to take him down in numbers and then attack the main head. Because if you have Matsuri and Ryu working together with JURA, it's just gonna make it all that more frustrating for Boruto and Kawaki. So Koji's plan is manifesting, and it's manifesting right in front of our eyes. We just gotta wake up and see it. So anyway, let me know if you think this plan will work or not in the comment section. When Kawaki makes his big debut, we will be live to see it. So if you want to watch me react to it live with you guys, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you get notified whenever I upload or go live for chapter spoilers, because we will be live going over this. We will be live, definitely. So make sure you guys are in there. It's gonna be lit. Our live streams are usually lit anyway, so, you know, come on, bro, get in here. Let's have some fun. But until my next one, I'll see you boys and girls later. And I'm out. Peace.